This video will be based on the anime and the current manga chapter at the recording of this video, which is chapter 133. Nothing about the webcomic will be mentioned as I don't read it, and when I say strongest, I'm not only referring to raw physical strength, everything the character possesses will be taken into account in the listing. My goal for 2020 was to reach 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube, so be a mad lad and subscribe alongside these other cool things. Now, enjoy the video. First, we have 3 characters that are too hard to scale, that being the Almighty with Beyond Ultra Instinct Mosquito, the Chad King, and the Destroyer Moomin Rider, as they possess too much power, in turn breaking the scale, in turn breaking the top 10. So just think of them as above the top 10 that are, you know, the gods of the universe. And in the making of the top 10 are more going off what is being shown rather than implied, like for example Metal Knight and Blast, who have characters that will probably be crazy OP when we get to see their full arsenal and everything they're capable of, but at this point in the manga we haven't, so I can't really include them. And of course this list can change over time, but feel free to let me know down in the comments your personal top 10. But now let's go. In 10th spot I decided to go for Black Sperm. We haven't really seen an extreme amount of what he's capable of in the manga so far, but he could probably go higher based on how insanely OP he was already shown. With him not even really trying, we haven't seen his 100% power. He was able to easily deal with Atomic Samurai and able to react to Atomic Samurai's attacks, which are stated to be at the atomic level in speed and, you know, all that, able to react to them and also able to regenerate after getting hit by those. So like a Majin Buu type character, kinda quite OP, and we haven't really seen any of his power. He's a, you know, lead member of the Monster Association, a dragon level threat, and we haven't really seen what he's truly capable of. I assume we're going to see more of him at later parts. I don't believe he was defeated when the various heroes were escaping from the underground, but still he has shown absolute insanity when it comes to hacks and everything regarding that. At number 9 I decided to go for Elder Centipede, one of the characters that has the most durability in this series that we've seen so far. A dragon level threat, was stated to have been defeated by Blast in the past, and I'm assuming Blast is on Saitama tier, so with that alone you could say Elder Centipede is an absolute monster. As we know, absolutely rolled by Saitama, but you know, Saitama destroys everyone. But yeah, from what we've seen, an absolute tanky god, and I don't really see that many characters that can actually deal with Elder Centipede's size and absolute tankiness. At number 8 I decided to go for an interesting one that not many people may remember. He's from the start of the anime and start of the manga. He goes by the name BEEFCAKE, or that's what they call him in the series, and he is the human who pretty much turned into that massive giant that pretty much one-shotted an entire city with his, you know, hand alone, just, you know, slapping the city away. And that is just absolutely insane to think about. And if Saitama wasn't Saitama to, you know, come in and show his strength for that part in the story, I can't really name that many characters that will be able to deal with this absolute monster. He was stated to be only like a low-level demon threat by the Hero Association, but his actual rank was dragging with him being so big, so powerful, and they didn't really get to see what he's capable of until Saitama came in and destroyed him, pretty much unknowing to most of the people in the world. At number 7 I decided to go for Overgrown Rover, an absolute badass dog monster who, you know, is just a good boy. He's a dragon level monster, with him being an exclusive member of the Monster Association, being an absolute monster with insane destructive power, him just destroying, wiping out everything. And if Saitama didn't give him that, you know, dog slap out of nowhere or dog punch thingy, I don't think anyone was going to be stopping Rover on the underground at that point with what he was shown doing, just slamming through everything, having like Dragon Ball tier blast coming out of his mouth. Absolutely insane Rover was, and he's very huge as well, which will be another issue for a lot of characters that don't have insane power. And apart from that, even though he was knocked back quite far by Saitama, he wasn't killed by Saitama when he hit that punch. And then when Bang, Bomb and Garou tried, you know, attack him at various points during the arc, Rover took pretty much no damage from them and continued being an absolute beastly monster. So yeah, Overgrown Rover, one of the strongest monsters and an absolute tanky god. At number 6 I decided to go for Garou, and the most recent Garou we've seen in the manga is him being able to defeat Super Alloy Darkshine, and him actually starting to break his limiter. As we know, Saitama's strength comes from him breaking his limiter, and from what we've seen, Garou is starting to break his limiter. So even if he's only part broken his limiter, Garou is just an absolute monster. He's improving at a rapid rate, and I assume he'll be higher and higher on this list as we get more time, but at this current point point. I think 6 on this list is pretty reasonable, and I can't wait to see more of Garou, one of my favorite characters in the series, if not my favorite character. At number 5, I decided to go for Monster King Orochi. So the leader of the Monster Association and the character who is above and pretty much the leader of the characters I mentioned before, such as Rover, Elder Centipede, Black Sperm. So if him being the leader of those, you got to automatically assume he's above those. Even though he was pretty much destroyed by Saitama, as everyone is, no one else got to really fight base form Orochi from what I know of from reading the manga. But yeah, Orochi, an absolute monster. I don't think many people will be able to deal with him from the story if Saitama wasn't there to take him out. And yep, just an absolute crazy god. At number 4, I decided to go for Psycho Orochi. As we know, when Psycho absorbed Orochi's cells and everything Orochi had, his dormant power, became an absolute, you know, extreme monster. Has Orochi's power plus her own and plus a little bit more to become absolutely insanely powerful and probably the strongest monster or part of the Monster Association we've seen so far. And with this monster currently fighting Tatsumaki in the current chapter that I'm reading, they've been fighting for like, I believe 4 or 5 chapters once transformed into this insanity, and I do believe Tatsumaki is going to defeat the monster, but we'll have to see what happens. And with that, I have Tatsumaki at rank 3. So as I mentioned, I do think she'll beat Psycho Orochi, if that's how, I believe that's the monster's name if I remember, Psycho Orochi, the fusion of them, whatever it is, I may not remember the exact name, but the fusion of those 2 monsters. I do believe she's gonna defeat that monster with pretty high difficulty, maybe unlocking more power or a new technique. And you may even argue that Psycho Orochi is defeating Tatsumaki so far in the fight based on how Genos is helping Tatsumaki, but based on conversation and what they're really acting like, Tatsumaki doesn't want Genos' help and believes she can take the monster out herself, and I believe she can do that, so that's why I have her at rank 3. At number 2, I decided to go for Lord Boros. So a character that was wrecked by Saitama, but a character that revealed more of Saitama's power than anyone we've seen so far in the story. He tanked multiple regular attacks from Saitama that no one else has really done in the story, and he even allows Saitama to unleash more of his power than we've ever seen before, with Saitama unleashing the serious punch for the first time in the series. And Lord Boros, insane regeneration, insane speed, insane power, an absolute powerhouse, and I believe the closest character we've seen to be a god level threat, but I do believe he didn't quite reach that based on what happened. But yep, on to number 1, who else would it be but the bold cape Saitama. Absolute beast, defeated most people who have talked about on this list, and Saitama, as we know, broke his limiter, his absolute peak character in the series, only gets defeated by the people I said were above the top 10 earlier. But yeah, number 1 is Saitama, and that's today's video, top 10 strongest in One Punch Man manga, the current chapter. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to subscribe, join the Discord, and yep, that's it guys, peace.